Hello. Welcome to this edition of Rocker Restoration Rust of Liberty CRD ness. And so our current situation is we've cut out our rocker panel. Are we zoomed out or in? So it was really bad. So here it is up in the front. This is your rocker. This is where the plastic trim mounts to the outside in those holes. And starting here, we had rust, which got even worse back here, and even worse in the back. And if we open this door, you'll see all the way up into here. And once that got removed, took that off, and then underneath the outer skin rocker, we had this situation, which this has been removed here. This is what I call the middle. We got 3 pieces of sheet metal coming together on this pinch weld right here. So the outer rocker, this middle part, and then there's an inner channel too, which is actually part of the floor pan. And so this is where they all come together. So this middle part goes up in here to form part of the structure, and it was really bad. There are holes in it naturally, the way they build it, but some of these were just totally paper thin rust. So that's been removed. We still have our, what I call the inner channel. Some of it's still paper thin rust, but I left it there so that I could form up new pieces and make sure that they're going to be very similar to what we're removing, because we don't want to leave any of this junk in here like a lot of your auto repair folks will do. They'll just cover it up and you'll see it again in a couple of years. So if we go up under here, you can see the inner channel. So there's the bottom of the inner channel. I've cut this portion out. So this is what I'll do all the way where it's bad. I'll cut this out and cover it up, with the new piece. Haven't cut this part out yet, where this hole is, but it will be. So now we're going to show you our new panels that we built, what it looks like once we get it together. So here's the first piece I built. That's part of the inner channel. Had to notch out for some of the seat mounts, have a doubler on them, and there's some drain plugs I had to notch out for. There's also some drain holes in that pinch weld I allowed for. So it's basically I call it a Z shape, 3 bends on it. Not too complicated, but and then we're just gonna put it in place here. This piece, so in the back, it's the same channel, inner channel, but it gets a little bigger because it ties into your body mount. The body has a big flare mount that ties into it, so it gets a little bigger. So I had to make this section a little bigger and blend it in to make it where it tapers in to the first piece I just showed you. So it's actually going to slide into the first piece I just showed you like that. Put that up in here. Loosen this front one up a little. And that goes there. Now we'll tighten this back up. Everything's just kind of held in place. So when I get everything exactly like I want it, and everything fits very well, then I'll tack weld those pieces together so that they don't flop around. And then they'll be, once I remove all the rust, they'll be tacked on permanently to the body. And I'm gonna, on the back of this second piece I told you about, I'm going to weld it onto that body, that big body mount flare that I told you about. I'll show you that in the back. So this inner middle part I told you about, I cut out. It's been cut out also. That was mostly so I could access the inner. And that's panel number 3 we're looking at here. It's gonna go right up in here. Formed it around that bump there. And so that forms your middle. So it's kind of where all three come together here. Kind of hard to get all the pieces lined up. That's where they go. Put the pliers here just to hold it temporarily. So now you can see this hole's been filled up. It goes all the way up. It's got a 90-degree bend on the top, so it'll get tacked in to what is actually your door sill. That's what forms that, and it's solid, good metal, so I'll tack it in there. And then I'll take you on the inside to see the body channel. So what it'll look like once it all gets welded up. So where there was holes and rust and all that, here's the first section of the Z channel. Goes into the bigger section of Z here in the back, and here's that big body flange back mount I was telling you about, so I'll tie it into there and up in here. And there will be a fourth piece, because this is still not very good up here, forward of this piece here. So this will basically be a duplicate, be tied in, one more section going forward. And I'm going to layer them so that when you're going, if you're going over a rock or something, it happens to catch on this piece, you want it to slide over it and not catch on a lip. So I have to do from back to front layering so that they'll slide correctly and not get caught on a lip or an edge of a seam. So now it's basically going to be making sure this all fits, tacking it together. So this will be one piece when I tack it together, and I'm going to be cutting out the rest of that rust on the bottom of that inner channel, cleaning everything up, painting it before I seal it all up with new metal. See you later.